Hello everybody, Bob George U from Remax Accord here. Going to talk to you today about the brass ring approach to selling a property, the third and final approach before we can move on to bigger and better things. Today is May 6, 2020. Happy Cinco de Mayo, happy May Day, and hope this COVID-19 lockdown has missed you all and that you're making the best of your time with your family and friends streaming Netflix. The brass ring method is basically extracting the maximum value from the property by maxing out everything. Now this approach is not going to be for everyone. And this goes back to an analogy I used in an earlier video where I made the comparison between two automobiles. The key determining factor when making the decision to do a brass ring sale is not necessarily the condition of the property, but the emotional impact of the property. And the distinction is important. I sort of went over this in a prior video where I stated that you can have a beautiful house, completely remodeled and updated, but if there's something called functional obsolescence in the house will feel dated even though all the major systems have been remodeled, repaired, new kitchen, new bath, beautiful curb appeal. No, we're talking about something, a little joie de vivre, a little something that you can't necessarily put your finger on, but exists and appeals to a certain segment of the buyer pool. What we're basically doing is selling a dream home. And unlike the market level approach is where you're selling a house to the highest possible value that you can put a number on, there are select houses that are done so well and laid out so uniquely that they will attract a certain buyer who's willing to pay a premium for unique elements. The way I explain this to sellers is using the Toyota Solara Lexus LS300 example. And that one of the ways to classify buyers generally, and not with regards to houses, but just kind of in the market overall, is that there's some people that will pay a premium for a designer label when it comes to clothing, accessories, cars. I just happen to know more about cars than I knew about accessories and clothing, and so I use that example. The Toyota Solara and the Lexus 300 are basically the same car, except one's a Lexus and one's a Toyota. When you go to the Toyota, look at the Solara, it's basically the same shape with a new front and back on the car, some different color amenities on the inside, different textures of the leathers on the seats, as well as maybe some possible engine combinations that may be detuned compared to the Lexus. With the Lexus, you get small details that enhance the appeal to that certain segment that buys the value of a name brand, which Toyota has fostered over the years, called Lexus. Now, in order to attract that sort of buyer, you have to treat them in a special way, you have to act in a certain way, the amenities of the house have to be a certain way. But the people who make a decision to buy the Toyota Solara don't care about that. They don't want to pay the premium, they don't want to pay the $5,000 to $7,000 for the Lexus. They will save the money, put it in their pocket, go down to the Toyota dealership, and they'll buy themselves a Toyota Solara. It's a value play for them, and it's all about the money. They won't pay for the designer label. And these are lifestyle choices that people have. So when you're selling a house, with a brass ring type sale, you're selling a lifestyle, you're selling a dream, you're selling something with your specific house that you can't get with the neighbor's house down the street. So if you have one of these houses, selling a house like this has its risks. Obviously, the payoff is you're going to get a premium for your house compared to other similar houses in the neighborhood and other similar comparables. The buyer population of this sort of buyer pool is less reliable, more demanding, greater expectation for the seller. Transactions are typically a little bit tougher. And every once in a while, you're going to get an appraisal that doesn't have the value gene and doesn't understand this, and your appraisal is going to miss. Another risk of this type of sale is that you're also very sensitive to the market and market changes, because the market changes are invisible. If the market's going up, So when the market's going up, it's obviously a superior timing to use this strategy compared to when the market's been in a plateau or potentially in decline or changing in some way, shape, or form. Because if you price up at the top, and if you price up at the top of the market when the market is changing and the market slips on you, it doesn't matter whether or not you have that certain joie de vivre in your property, the market's just not going to be there for you. And for those buyers, being fickle as they are, they just won't come, and you'll be stuck. In most markets, you will extract maximum value for your property. Okay, well, I guess that's all I have to say about the brass ring approach. Thanks for watching. My name is Bob Georgiou with Remax Accord. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, leave me a comment down below, and I'll be happy to get to you. Otherwise, you feel free to call me for If you have any specific questions about your house or your situation, give me a phone call at 925-980-3248 or bobdesell@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer your questions personally. And for the rest of you, we'll see you out there in escrow. Thank you. Bye. Hey everybody. So I'm going to do a little bit of a rant here after these, just kind of give you an update on the market. After the outro on these videos, I'm going to start doing a little bit of a editorializing, just a little summary of you know, what's going on in my mind, current events. Obviously, you know, we're on the COVID-19 lockdown, and you know, obviously there's a lot to say. I'm not going to say much on this thing, but you might have known that the scratch on my face, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. And this is the this is called No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. So I rode my bike over to a house that I have sold off MLS, and sewer company was asking me where the sewer line connect was, because the buyer's agent didn't know. And I figured, well, I got to go for a bike ride, and you know, I don't have to do this, but you know, it's COVID-19 time, we've got a lot of free time, so I'm going to ride my bike from Pleasant Hill over to Concord and find out where this thing is and then ride back. Well, the buyer was doing their inspection, doors were open. The house was an Eichler, had floor-to-ceiling windows, mostly original. And this Eichler hadn't had its windows. Eichler hadn't had its windows replaced, and it didn't have safety glass on the floor-to-ceiling windows. So, ended up bumping a window. Thing shattered on me, cut my face, and put a bunch of 2-inch cut in my knee. I would have ridden the bike home otherwise, but you know, it wouldn't stop bleeding. So I figured, I need to go get some stitches. Ended up needing 3 in one place and 1 in another. You know, one of these things, life happens, and life of a real estate agent. So anyways, again, one of the things in real estate that one of the things in real estate you learn is no good deed ever goes unpunished. And that was my punishment for going out and trying to be a little service and do double time, getting a little workout. So not real happy about that, but you know, that's to every day of sunshine, a little rain must fall. And yeah, so I'm off the bike for 10 days and get to go through with showers with bag on my leg and all that stuff. So that's my Wednesday, May 6th, and about how my COVID-19 holiday's been going. So in the meantime, thanks for listening to the rant. We're going to do these after every outro on the video on something. Don't ask me what. And just whatever happens to be on my mind. Share a little bit of my insights and a little bit about me. And I'm probably going to do another video to announce this separately. So this may appear in 2 different locations on the video moving forward. So we'll go. Tell you more about that later.